So in this video, I want to talk about why the left hates capitalism so much, right? Because like over the past 2 years, I've done a lot of reaction videos to like people on TikTok, right? Especially, and usually it's a lot of younger people, and many of them are always talking about how much they hate capitalism, and a lot of it I think comes from them. I think that a lot of these younger people are being manipulated by people on the left to really hate their country, to hate capitalism, when reality is like, and one thing you notice about is that many of them either hate their job, right? They hate the profession, they don't like what they do, or they're just not happy with where their life is going, so they find some reason to blame, instead of being introspective and looking at themselves and the choices that they make. They had to find something else, right? And a lot of the times it's capitalism. And it's just like, how does it get to that point where you blame? And it's normal, right? It's like human nature, right? We humans tend to do that, right? Instead of being introspective, we tend to try to blame something external, right? Like, for instance, like if you'll see some people that aren't doing well financially, they'll tend to blame wealthy people or capitalism or whatever. Say if you're a guy that's struggling to get girls, some guys will tend to blame, they'll blame women, and vice versa. There's women that struggle dating men, they'll blame the men, right? It's just something that we as humans we tend to do. And sometimes it's you have to be introspective and like, okay, what am I doing wrong? But a lot of people don't like to do that. They have to blame something external. And with this, when it comes to a lot of people on the left hating capitalism, you see that a lot with a lot of people. It's just they struggle with their life. They're not happy where they are, so they blame capitalism. And so where does it come from, right? I think for a lot of people, for many of these young people, it's manipulation, right? You got people on the left that are so anti-business, right? These Democrats, right? And if you go to like certain states, right, cities where run by Democrats, you can tell they're anti-business. Now, they may not say it, but you can see that in their policies. But of course, they never really attack small business, because that's not the smart thing to do, because many small businesses run, we have a lot of small business in this country, and it's very needed. So what they do is they tend to attack the corporations, right? Because they're an easy target, right? You're not going to get a lot of people defending corporations, right, that make billions of dollars, right? You're not going to get a lot of people that empathize with corporations. So it's easy for them to attack corporations, say, oh, they need to pay their fair share, or they're not paying enough taxes, or they're greedy or whatnot. When in reality, you think it's just the big corporations they're attacking. They're also attacking small businesses as well. And you can see that with the policies that they implement. Just go in states, like California, where many of the policies that they implement hurt small business, whether it's through crime, high taxes, it just any policy that makes it difficult for these businesses to operate just gives you a sense that, yeah, this is not a place where I would run a business. And many people, I don't know why they do it. They deal with that pain in California. I would never operate a business in California, because there's just no incentive to do it. Okay, and you get that. And I remember even I think Obama, right? He said one time, he was talking about how he was like, when it comes to business, he was saying that you didn't build that business. And I've read the quotation. I know there was a lot of people like to talk about, there was a context. He didn't mean to say it that way. But when I look at it, it's like, maybe he didn't mean to say it that way, because he was talking about how, there's fire trucks, there's other people involved in allowing you to run your business. But yeah, that's just the privilege in living in a developed society like America, right? Because we have such a developed country, we can operate in a way that there's freedom to do the things we want. But in reality, when it comes to the business, that person ran that business, that person sacrificed, they put in their money to build that business, and they built it to where it is, and they deserve that credit. But these Democrats, they have this like very socialistic mindset where it's almost like you of course you didn't do it by yourself. We have a community of people when it comes to your business that allowed you to do that, and it's like a person that starts a business, they're putting a lot of risk in it. And of course, they don't exactly do it by themselves. We have a community, but when it comes to business, there's a lot of sacrifice when it comes to starting a business. You're putting in the risk and the sacrifice to build that business. And when it comes to these Democrats, they love, the only businesses that they love businesses that they can control, right? If they can find a way to get their hands in you and their claws in, they'll love you. They'll make sure they'll make sure to give you the support that you need to make sure you operate. But say you go against what they want to do, they'll find ways to make it difficult for you to operate and find a way to shut you down. Like one book that I read that was amazing, one of the best books I've ever read. It's called Atlas Shrugged, right, by Ayn Rand, right? If you watch, it's a long book. It's a very long book. It's like, I think it's like over 1,000 pages, right? And I listened to the audio, and it was like 40, 50 hours of audio. But one of the best books I ever read, because when I read that book, and you see what's been going on these past 4 years with Donald Trump and how government tries to make it so difficult that they create these charges and the fact that he's been indicted, it's just like, every time I saw these things happen, I always refer back to that book and how they made it difficult for businesses to operate. And they say, hey, you know what? Look, we want to work with you with the steel company. Like, they want to work with you, right? But, these businesses like, yeah, okay, I'll work with you, but I don't want you, running my business. And of course, government has to put their hands in these business. They got to tell you, they got to dictate to you how you should be running your business. And of course, if you're a business owner, you're like, no, that's not how I want to run it. And then if you don't do what they say, they find ways to make it difficult for you to run your business. And then they come up with all different type of charges, and they make it very difficult. And every time when I read that book, it was just like, seeing these past 4 years what Trump went through, it was just like, all these things. And Elon Musk, right? If you read that book, you're like, man, like, this is exactly how how they like to operate, especially when it comes to these government. And when I think about and so it's just like, they make it very difficult, and when you see these things happen, it's like, these people are so anti-business, and they don't like people that are actually going out there and doing things in life. And for when I look at capitalism, like, for me, it actually changed my life, right? Like, back in 2018, I started affiliate marketing. No, 2016, I started affiliate marketing, and in 2018, I started making money, and I was able to pay off debt. I was able to, retire from like a regular job and work on my business full time. So it provided me a huge opportunity to do something for myself, right? Like, maybe I didn't want to work for somebody. It allowed me to be able to be in business for myself. And I think capitalism can do that for a lot of people that have the drive and the motivation to want to start a business. And if you don't want to do that, that's cool as well, right? And maybe you work for somebody else that started a business, which is totally fine. But it changed my life, and I'll never forget that, because I always had the mindset, especially growing up, it was just like, a person like me couldn't be successful because of racism or or whatever it is type of thing, where I there's always a roadblock in my way where I wouldn't be able to do that. And when I started finding success with the business, I was like, okay, all these things that I was told is just not true. If you really apply yourself and this is what you want, you can be successful when it comes to starting a business here in the United States. And I'll never forget that. And I hear these Democrats, and they talk about, democratic. They talk about democratic socialism. Like, we need, like Bernie Sanders. Right? He'd be talking about democratic socialism. Like, what? First of all, socialism is trash, right? Socialism cannot survive without capitalism, right? Because capitalism creates, socialism takes. Okay, so right there, whatever, I don't care how you want to call it, democratic socialism, still sounds like socialism to me. And no, it doesn't work, and it's never worked in any other country. And obviously, a lot of people on the left, they try to incorporate this so-called democratic socialism, when in reality, it's just in order for it to survive, it needs capitalism. Okay, and obviously, where they're trying to do more of this democratic socialism, but this is not where the country needs to be, right? We need more capitalism. Obviously, I'm not saying capitalism is perfect, right? It has its flaws, but you got to find me a system that's better. And so far, I haven't seen that. And that's the thing. And when I look at these people on the left, I think a big reason why they hate capitalism so much is because they don't like people that have accomplished things, right? They demonize success, right? Which says a lot about them. They don't. And you look at these people in government, right, especially on the left, like, they've never really accomplished anything. The greatest accomplishment is getting a degree and finding their way inside of government, right, where they can, like, create laws that it's a power trip, right? They can create laws that they can say, hey, we created that law. Like, that's not a huge accomplishment, okay? That's not a huge accomplishment. And they demonize people that actually gone out there and that have done things, that accomplished things, created businesses, created jobs, made wealth for themselves. And that's the thing that you look at from a lot of these people, and it's sad to see that. So like for me, like so what can we do? Like I think the big thing is, like, obviously the great thing, being Trump being in office, is he understands like we need to create more, we need to let more free market operate, right? Removing regulations, right? Let these businesses, run, let businesses operate in the free market and produce more. And that's what we need to do, right? Make sure we're reducing taxes. And we all know that when you reduce taxes, it also increases revenue, right? Because a lot of these people on the left, like, oh, we need to tax more. Which, if you study economics, when you tax people more, it reduces revenue. As opposed to you cut taxes, it's going to increase revenue for the government. Because let's think about it. When you cut taxes, right? Let's say you cut taxes for everyone. I'm talking about corporations, regular, citizens, people that work, regular jobs. That means more money in their pocket. And what do people with more money in their pocket do? They spend money, right? Spending is something. More spending creates more revenue in our country, which is a good thing. Let people keep their hard-earned money. Stop trying to take it away. All right? Let the people have their money. And then let them do what they want with their money. And most people are going to spend it. Stop trying to take the money. And it's crazy too, because Trump is trying to create this external revenue service thing, which collects tariffs, right? So every tariff, all the taxes that come from the tariff is going to go into this external revenue service instead of the IRS. And I see what he's trying to do. I know a lot of people are worried about this tariff, where they feel like it's going to increase the cost of goods and services that come into the United States. And technically, that's what it can do. But obviously, a lot of people are saying, Trump is using that as a negotiating tactic. At first, I thought that's what he was doing, which I think he still is. But I think what he's also trying to do, I think he's gonna make a lot of these tariffs permanent. But even knowing that it's going to increase the cost of these goods. However, you see what he's trying to do when it comes to taxes. He's trying to remove taxes from tips, right? He's trying to get rid of taxes on tips, taxes on overtime, taxes on Social Security. And I don't know if he can do this, but maybe get rid of the federal income tax, which, right, was implemented in 1913, right? That's not something that's always been a part of the United States. So if he's gonna make sure these tariffs are in place and the cost of goods are gonna increase, he has to offset that and make sure people, at the very least, have more money in their pocket to afford this increased cost. And I think that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to make sure people have more money in their pocket. And for him, when it comes to when the government collecting revenue, because let's be real, like, the only way government makes money is through taxing us. But however, I think what he wants to do is he wants to make the way government collects revenue is through tariffs, taxing imports. And I think. To me, it sounds like a pretty good idea. If you let more people have money in their pockets, and when it comes to goods being imported into the United States, that's where he's going to collect your revenue for the government. So I mean, those are my thoughts. Because I think capitalism is a good thing, man. Capitalism could change a lot of lives. It's done a lot for America. It's done a lot for a lot of people. It's raised the living standards for a lot of people in this country, and for a lot of people that talk about capitalism. Like I said, it's not perfect, but people that talk about capitalism being bad, what other system do you have? Because you can't tell me socialism, because socialism doesn't survive without capitalism. So those are my thoughts. Interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure to leave a comment down below, hit the like button, share, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. All right, so you guys take care. Have a good one. Later.